No organization is responsible for the content of this video. All errors and omissions are the sole responsibility of myself, David Iverson. This video must not be your only source of information. Please attend official USSA educational opportunities. Please download official USSA educational materials. Okay, so in this video we're going to look at just what you need to bring with you to registration, and again, it's not going to be comprehensive. I'm not going to get into all the little things like how many pencils you need or how many pens you need, clipboards, etc. There's a lot that goes into it. Right now I'm focusing just on the paperwork side of things. Okay, so right off the bat, you're going to have a lot of people who want to know what the schedule is, and they want to know what the start list is. So right off, I'm going to make a packet that's going to contain everything that just about everybody's going to want to know. And so if I've got, say, 150 people in the race, I'm probably going to make up about 120 of these packets. So not quite one packet per racer, but pretty close, because there's going to be coaches and officials and parent volunteers and guests. There's going to be a lot of people who want to get this information. So what am I going to make 120 copies of? Well, stapled all together, I'm going to have a schedule, then I'm going to have the girls' start list, and then I'm going to have the boys' start list. And now everybody, basically like everybody comes up and they look and they see that they've got a ladies' start list, and they're like, well, where's the boys' start list? Well, because just about everybody that I know wants both a ladies and a men's start list, I just throw them all together, and the people who don't want them can tear them apart and share with people who only want one sex. So for 150 racers, about 120 copies of schedule and start list for ladies and men, all stapled together. Now, the next thing that I'm going to need going into registration is I'm going to need a list of competitors in alphabetical order, because basically this is the easy way to do it. It's a much harder to go through the start list and try to find names, but somebody comes up and says, hi, I'm Madeline Davis. You go down and you look and you see that Madeline Davis is bib 30, and you give Madeline Davis bib 30. So it's always good to have about 5 copies of the list of competitors in alphabetical order. And then again, the people at the mountain who are selling discounted parent tickets, they don't care what bib number somebody is. They just want to know a parent gives an ID and says that I am the parent of Catherine Cole. They find Catherine Cole on the alphabetical list. They sell them a ticket. So about 5 copies of the alphabetical list of competitors. And again, men and women, I just throw them together. Now, you're also going to have volunteers that are not members of USSA. So if your volunteer is a member of USSA, they do not need to sign a waiver, because they've already signed a waiver. But if you've got somebody who's gatekeeping, who's a parent, who's not a member of USSA, they're going to need to fill out one of these. So, bring 40 to any race and expect that you're going to use 15 to 20 of them. But you always want to have extra. You can always just make more. And so have some of these with you. Okay, so now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to have as much of the USSA Technical Delegate Report filled out as possible. And so you can go watch my video on that. Or if I'm running a FIS race, here's what the FIS TD report looks like. And so again, I'm going to want to have as much of this filled out as possible before the race starts. So I want to do that at least by the night before. And then here's another thing that I'm going to have to hand out to a bunch of people. Here I've got the medical plan, and there will be a video on medical plans at some point in time. And so Who am I going to need to give the medical plan to? Well, anybody who requests a medical plan is going to be able to get one. So I always have plenty on hand. But then when I go to the team captains meeting, I want to make sure that I have enough for every coach that's going to be at the team captains meeting. So I'm probably going to want to have around 30 to 40 of these on hand. And I'm probably going to lose about 5 to 10 of them per race, but I want to make sure that I got plenty. So there's my medical plan. Then the night before, I can fill out the header information on my referee reports so that they're ready to go, so I have them and I don't have to do it on the fly. All I have to do is just fill the stuff in as it happens. So I've got as many referee reports as I need, all set to go. And again, I've got a video on the timing and data technical report, and there's a bunch of stuff that you can fill out on this before the race. And the more you fill out before the race, the less you have to do on race day. Okay, and again, I have a video on team captains meeting. So I'm going to make up minutes of the team captains meeting before the meeting happens. And if something strange happens and I need to change my minutes, well, then I just go ahead and I change my minutes. So these are basically my minutes for a USSA non-scored race. And then I make up an attendance list for that meeting. So here is the attendance list, and I filled out what I could fill out to bring to the meeting. Now, if I'm running a FIS race, here is my program for the FIS race, which is sort of the same thing as a minutes of team captains meeting. So then here's the team's captain meeting minutes, the same sort of idea, but this is for a FIS race. Now, my attendance list for a FIS race is exactly the same as the attendance list that I use for all my USSA scored and unscored races. Okay, and then finally, my minutes of jury decisions without protests, whether I'm doing a USSA non-scored race or a USSA scored race or a FIS race, I'm using the same form, and basically I'm putting the same information more or less on those forms. And so, as far as I know, doing this in July, that's basically what I'm going to be walking into when I go to bed at night. I'm going to have as much of this filled out as possible and in my file box so that as the day progresses, I can just yank stuff out and hand them to people, and I can just go from there.